My daughter-in-law Jessica stood in my bedroom doorway with her arms crossed, wearing that fake smile she always put on when she was about to deliver bad news. "Glenn, we need to talk," she said. "Shane and I have been discussing your living situation, and we think it's time for a change. You have 2 hours to pack your essentials." Behind her, my son Shane looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. He wouldn't meet my eyes. That's when I knew this wasn't just Jessica's idea anymore. He was in on it. My name is Glen Porter. I'm 59 years old, a retired electrician who spent 35 years wiring houses and fixing electrical problems all over this town. My wife Ruth died 3 years ago from cancer, and since then, I've been living alone in the house we bought together back in 1992. Until 6 months ago, when Shane lost his job and asked if his family could stay with me just temporarily. I should have seen this coming. Hell, maybe I did see it coming, but I chose to ignore the warning signs because they were family. That's what we do, right? We help family when they're down. "What are you talking about, Jessica?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "This is my house." She tilted her head with that condescending look she'd perfected over the past few months. "Glenn, we've talked about this. You're 59 years old, living alone in this big house. The yard work, the maintenance, the bills. It's too much for someone your age. We found a nice senior apartment across town. Small, manageable, perfect for your needs. Senior apartment. Like I was 80 and couldn't tie my own shoes." I looked at Shane again, still wouldn't look at me. "Son, you want to explain what your wife is talking about?" That's when he finally raised his head. "Dad, we're just worried about you. Since Mom died, you've been different. Forgetting things, getting confused. Last week you couldn't find your car keys for 2 hours. That was a lie. I knew exactly where my keys were. Jessica had moved them from the kitchen hook to the junk drawer. I'd seen her do it through the workshop window when she thought I was out back. But I didn't say that. Not yet. "And where exactly do you think you'll be living while I'm in this apartment?" I asked. Jessica's mask slipped for just a second. "Well, someone needs to take care of the house. Make sure the pipes don't freeze, the lawn gets mowed. We'd be doing you a favor. Really, a favor. Right. The thing about being an electrician for 35 years is you learn to spot problems before they become disasters. You look for the signs. A flickering light here, a warm outlet there, small things that tell you something bigger is wrong with the system. And for the past 3 months, I'd been seeing plenty of signs. It started small. Jessica would answer my phone when I was in the bathroom, telling callers I was resting or having one of his confused days. She started doing my grocery shopping because the store was too overwhelming for me. She moved things around the house and then acted concerned when I couldn't find them. But the real wake-up call came 2 weeks ago when I overheard her talking to someone on the phone in the kitchen. She thought I was taking my afternoon nap. "He's getting worse," she was saying. "Yesterday he forgot which church he goes to." Shane's really worried about his mental state. We might need to look into getting power of attorney soon, just to protect him from making bad financial decisions. I hadn't forgotten which church I went to. I'd been going to the same church for 20 years. What I had done was tell Jessica I wasn't going that Sunday because Pastor Williams was doing a sermon series I'd already heard. But somehow that became Glen's confused about his church. That's when I started paying real attention, and what I found made my blood run cold. Jessica had been building a case. A nice, neat little story about poor old Glen losing his mind, told to anyone who would listen. The mailman, the grocery clerk, even Dr. Fisher, my family. Doctor, she'd been coming with me to my appointments, sitting in the waiting room, chatting with the nurses about how concerned she was about my memory. So I did what any good electrician does when he finds a problem. I started documenting everything. The workshop behind my house became my command center. Ruth and I had built it ourselves back in 1995, and it was the one place Jessica never went. She said it was too dusty and smelled like motor oil. Perfect. I set up my old smartphone to record conversations when Jessica thought I was out. I started a notebook, writing down every lie, every manipulation, every time she moved something, and then acted worried when I couldn't find it. I even installed a small security camera in the kitchen, hidden inside an old radio I'd been meaning to fix. The camera was easy enough to set up. After 35 years of running wire through walls and connecting circuits, hiding a tiny lens inside a radio case was child's play. I ran the power through the existing outlet and connected it to my old tablet, which I kept in the workshop. Jessica never suspected a thing. The evidence was damning. Jessica on camera moving my prescription bottles and then calling Shane to report I was forgetting to take my medication. Jessica deleting messages from my friends on my answering machine. Jessica going through my mail and hiding bills so she could later claim I was behind on payments. But the worst discovery came last week. I found papers in Shane's jacket pocket when I was doing laundry. Documents transferring partial ownership of my house to him for estate planning purposes. Papers that needed my signature, but Jessica had been practicing forging my name on scratch paper. I found those too, crumpled up in the kitchen trash can. That's when I called Dean Sullivan, the lawyer Ruth and I had used for our wills. Dean listened to everything, looked at my evidence, and helped me set up a few surprises of my own. Glen, this is textbook elder. Abuse, Dean said, spreading the forged signature papers across his desk. Financial manipulation, isolation tactics, gaslighting. They're following the playbook to the letter. I leaned back in his office chair, feeling older than my 59 years. What can we do about it? More than you think. First, we're going to protect your assets. I'm drawing up papers that put your house and accounts in a protective trust. Any attempt to transfer property will require my direct approval and a competency hearing. Dean pulled out a legal pad and started writing. Second, we're going to document everything. Keep that camera rolling. Keep that notebook updated. And I'm going to have a conversation with Dr. Fisher about Jessica's little chats with his nursing staff. What about the police? We'll involve them when the time is right. Right now, we're gathering evidence. When Jessica makes her move, and she will make her move, we'll be ready. Dean was right. Jessica did make her move, just not the way I expected. 2 days later, I came home from my weekly grocery run to find Jessica in my kitchen with a man I didn't recognize. He was about 40, wearing a cheap suit and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Glen, perfect timing, Jessica said, that fake sweetness dripping from her voice. This is Mr. Troy Coleman from Senior Living Solutions. He's here to discuss some housing options that might be perfect for you. Troy stood up and extended his hand. Mr. Porter, your daughter-in-law has told me so much about you. I understand you've been having some challenges maintaining this large property. I shook his hand, noting the firm grip and the way his eyes darted around my kitchen, taking inventory. Challenges, memory issues, confusion about finances, difficulty with daily tasks. Jessica mentioned you've been forgetting to pay bills, misplacing important documents. I looked at Jessica, who was nodding along like a concerned family member. Is that what she told you? Among other things. But don't worry, Mr. Porter. We specialize in helping seniors transition to more appropriate living situations. I have some wonderful facilities that offer full-service care. Full-service care. Code for, we'll take over your life and your money. And what would happen to my house while I'm enjoying this full-service care? Troy glanced at Jessica before answering. Well, that would depend on your family's needs. Often we recommend transferring property to adult children to ensure proper management and avoid probate complications. There it was, the pitch I'd been expecting. How interesting, I said. And I suppose this transition would need to happen quickly? These situations often benefit from prompt action, Troy said. Cognitive decline can accelerate rapidly, and it's important to make decisions while the senior is still capable of signing legal documents, still capable of signing. Like I was already halfway gone. Jessica jumped in. We're just trying to plan ahead, Glen. Make sure you're taken care of. I nodded thoughtfully. Well, Mr. Coleman, I appreciate you taking the time to visit, but I should mention I've already made arrangements for my care. Both Troy and Jessica froze. Arrangements? Jessica's voice went up an octave. Oh yes, I met with my attorney last week. Dean Sullivan, you might know him. He's been handling my family's legal matters for 15 years. Troy's smile flickered. Attorneys can be helpful, but they don't always understand the medical aspects of senior care. Dean understands plenty. In fact, he helped me set up a comprehensive care plan, asset protection, medical directives, even security measures for the house. Security measures? Jessica was trying to sound casual, but I could hear the panic creeping in. Camera system, document security, communication monitoring, protection against people who might try to take advantage of a widower. Troy was already reaching for his briefcase. Well, Mr. Porter, it sounds like you have. things well in hand. Jessica, perhaps we should discuss this further at another time. After Troy left, Jessica turned on me with a fury I'd never seen before. What the hell was that about, Glenn? What about? That performance with the security cameras and lawyers. You're scaring away people who are trying to help you. I sat down at my kitchen table, the same table where Ruth and I had eaten breakfast every morning for 27 years. Jessica, can I ask you something? She crossed her arms, still fuming. When exactly did I become incapable of managing my own life? You know what I'm talking about. The forgetfulness, the confusion. Name one specific example. She blinked. What? One specific time when I was confused or forgot something important. Not something you heard from someone else, not something you assumed. One actual incident you personally witnessed. The silent stretch between us. Jessica opened her mouth twice, but no words came out. Because I can name several. Times you've lied about my mental state to other people. I can name exactly when you moved my car keys, when you hid my medical bills, when you deleted messages from my friends. Want to hear the list? Her face went white. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. And so does Dean Sullivan. And so does the security camera in that old radio on the counter. Jessica's eyes snapped to the radio, then back to me. Smile, Jessica. You've been on camera for 3 weeks. That's when she finally dropped the act. The sweet, concerned daughter-in-law disappeared, and I saw the real Jessica for the first time. Cold, calculating, and absolutely furious that her game was up. Now, here was Jessica, standing in my bedroom, giving me 2 hours to pack like I was some doddering old fool who wouldn't fight back. But she had no idea what I'd been preparing for the past 3 weeks. I'm not going anywhere, I said quietly. Her smile got tighter. Glenn, don't make this harder than it needs to be. We've already put a deposit down on the apartment. The moving truck will be here at 2 p.m. moving truck. They'd really thought this through. Shane finally spoke up. Dad, please, this is for your own good. You can't keep living like this. Living like what? In my own house? Living alone, confused, forgetting things. You need help. I walked over to my dresser and picked up a framed photo of Ruth and me on our wedding day. She was wearing her grandmother's pearls and that smile that could light up a room. You know what your mother would say if she could see you right now? Shane's face went red. Don't bring Mom into this. She'd say her son turned into a coward who lets his wife bully his father out of his own home. That hit home. Shane took a step forward, but Jessica grabbed his arm. There's no point arguing with him when he gets like this, she said. Glenn, we're trying to help you. Don't you want to be somewhere safe? Somewhere you don't have to worry about maintaining this big old house? I almost laughed. Safe. The only thing I needed to be safe from was standing right in front of me. That's when my grandson Brady appeared in the doorway. He was 9 years old, with his mother's blonde hair and his grandfather's stubborn streak. The kid had Ruth's eyes too, sharp and knowing. Grandpa, are you really leaving? He asked in a small voice. I knelt down and looked him in the eye. What did you hear, buddy? Mom said, you have to go live somewhere else because you're getting old and can't remember things. But Grandpa, you remember everything. You remember all the stories about Grandma, and you remember how to fix my bike, and you remember where you put all your tools. Smart kid. Too smart for his mother's good. Brady, go play in your room, Jessica said quickly. But Brady ignored her and looked at me. Mom also said old people sometimes get confused and make bad choices with their money. Is that true? Out of the mouths of babes. I glanced up at Jessica, whose face had gone pale. Brady, go to your room. Now. Jessica's voice was sharp. The boy looked scared, but he hugged me tight before running off. That hug nearly broke my resolve. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about what kind of family Brady would grow up in. One where manipulation and lies were rewarded. Or one where truth and integrity mattered. All right, I said, standing up slowly. You want me gone in 2 hours? Fine. But there's something you both need to hear first. Shane and Jessica exchanged a look. They thought they'd won. Yesterday, while you two were at the mall, I went to see my lawyer, Dean Sullivan. You remember him, Shane. He handled your mother's will. Shane's face went white. Jessica tried to keep smiling, but it looked more like a grimace now. See, Dean and I had a real interesting conversation about elder abuse, about financial manipulation, about forged documents and property fraud. I reached into my dresser drawer and pulled out a thick manila folder, the same one Dean had given me yesterday with copies of everything. Turns out, when someone tries to steal a house from under an old man, they leave quite a paper trail. Jessica's voice came out as a whisper. "What are you talking about?" I opened the folder and spread the contents across my bed. Photos of the forged signatures, printouts of Jessica's phone calls to senior living facilities, screenshots of Jessica's Google searches for how to declare someone mentally incompetent and power of attorney for elderly parents. "You've been planning this for months," I said. "Building your little story about poor, confused Glen who can't take care of himself. Lying to my doctor, my neighbors, my friends, moving my things around and then acting concerned when I couldn't find them." Shane stared at the papers like they were on fire. "Dad, we never meant what? Never meant to steal my house? Never meant to have me declared incompetent? Or never meant to get caught?" I pulled out a small digital recorder from the folder. "Want to hear some of your conversations, Jessica? The ones you had when you thought I was napping?" Her eyes went wide. "You recorded us? I recorded you." Shane wasn't part of most of these conversations. "Which makes me wonder, son, how much of this plan did you actually know about?" Shane looked confused. "What plan? We just wanted to make sure you were safe." I pressed play on the recorder. Jessica's voice filled the room, crystal clear. "He's getting more confused every day. We need to move faster on the power of attorney. Once we have that, we can get him into assisted living and put the house on the market." Shane's mouth fell open. "Jessica, you said we were just exploring options." I fast-forwarded to another section. Jessica again. "The key is to make everyone think he's declining rapidly. I've already planted seeds with his doctor and some of the neighbors. Glen's memory is going. He's unsafe living alone. He needs professional care." "Professional care my ass," I said, stopping the recording. "What you needed was someone out of the way so you could sell my house and pocket the money." Jessica finally dropped all pretense. "We're drowning in debt, Glen. Shane lost his job. We're behind on everything, and you're sitting here in this big house with more money than you know what to do with. So that makes it okay to lie about my mental health, to forge my signature, to steal from me? We weren't stealing. We were securing our family's future." I looked at Shane, who seemed to be seeing his wife clearly for the first time. "Son, did you know she was forging my signature on property transfer documents?" "What?" Shane turned to Jessica. "You said those papers were just for financial planning?" "They were for planning," she snapped. "Planning to save our family from bankruptcy while your father hoards money he doesn't even need." That's when the doorbell rang. The sound cut through the room like a gunshot. Everyone froze. Jessica looked panicked, Shane looked confused, and I felt a calm settle over me that I hadn't experienced in months. "Who's that?" Jessica whispered. I smiled for the first time all day. "Why don't you go find out?" Shane walked to the front window and looked out. His shoulders sagged when he saw what was waiting outside. "It's a police car, 2 of them, and Dean Sullivan's car." Jessica was backing toward the wall now, her face white as paper. "You called the police?" "I called my lawyer. He called the police. See, when you try to commit elder abuse and property fraud, law enforcement tends to get involved." The doorbell rang again, followed by a loud knock. "Glen Porter, this is Detective Brooks. We'd like to speak with you." I headed for the bedroom door. Better let them in. Don't want to keep the law waiting. Downstairs, Detective Brooks and his partner, Officer Martinez, listened while Dean Sullivan laid out the evidence. The forged documents, the recorded conversations, the systematic isolation and manipulation. Jessica sat on my couch in my house, looking like she wanted to disappear into the cushions. Shane kept trying to explain, to minimize, to make excuses. But the evidence spoke for itself. "The thing is," Detective Brooks said, "we've been seeing a lot more of this lately. Adult children thinking they can manipulate elderly parents out of their homes and assets. Usually they get away with it because the victims are too ashamed or confused to fight back." He looked at me with something that might have been respect. "But you weren't confused at all, were you, Mr. Porter?" "No, sir. Just patient. My daddy used to say, 'Measure twice, cut once.' I wanted to make sure I had all my measurements right before I made my cut. Officer Martinez was taking notes while Detective Brooks examined the evidence. Dean Sullivan had everything organized in neat files: the surveillance footage, the forged signatures, the recordings of Jessica's phone calls. Mrs. Porter, Detective Brooks said to Jessica, "You have the right to remain silent, but I'd like to ask you a few questions about these documents." Jessica finally broke down. Not the fake tears she'd been using for months, but real panic. "I never meant for it to go this far," she sobbed. "We were just so desperate. Shane lost his job, we had credit card debt, the house we were renting got sold. So, you decided to steal your father-in-law's house?" Officer Martinez asked. "We weren't stealing. We were trying to secure our future. Glen doesn't need this much space, and we have a child to think about." Detective Brooks held up the forged signature papers. "These documents would have transferred 60% ownership of this property to your husband, without Mr. Porter's knowledge or consent." "That's fraud, ma'am." Shane finally found his voice. "Jessica, you told me Dad was okay with those papers. You said he signed them voluntarily." She turned on him like a cornered animal. "Shane, don't act like you didn't know. You knew we were in trouble. You knew we needed help. I was trying to save our family by destroying mine," I said quietly. The room went silent. Even Brady, who had snuck downstairs during the commotion, stood frozen in the hallway. That's when I made a decision that surprised everyone, including myself. "Detective Brooks," I said, "I don't want to press charges against my son." Shane's head snapped up. Jessica looked confused. Dean Sullivan frowned. "But I do want to press charges against my daughter-in-law," I continued, "and I want a restraining order that keeps her away from this property and away from my grandson." Jessica started crying again, but these were tears of rage now. "You can't keep me from my son." "I can keep you away from my house," I said. "And Shane's going to have to decide whether he wants to stay married to someone who tried to steal from his father, or whether he wants to be part of his son's life." Shane looked like someone had hit him with a sledgehammer. "Dad, I didn't know about the forged papers. I swear I didn't know. But you knew about the lies to my doctor. You knew about hiding my mail. You knew about the whole story Jessica was telling about my declining mental health." He nodded miserably. "She said we were protecting you, making sure you got proper care. Son, I raised you better than that. You know the difference between protection and manipulation." Detective Brooks stepped in. "Mr. Porter, we'll need you to come to the station to file formal charges. Mrs. Porter, you're under arrest for elder abuse, attempted fraud, and forgery." As they read Jessica her rights, she turned to Shane one last time. "Are you going to let them do this to me? I'm your wife." Shane looked at his son, then at me, then back at Jessica. "You lied to me too, Jess, about everything. You made me betray my father for a lie. That was the moment I knew my son might find his way back to being the man I raised. The aftermath took months to sort out. Jessica was charged with elder abuse and fraud. She pleaded guilty and got probation plus community service. But the restraining order kept her away from my house and from Brady. Shane filed for divorce 3 weeks later. The hardest part was rebuilding trust between Shane and me. It didn't happen overnight. We had to sit down and talk through everything: his financial troubles, his shame about losing his job, his fear of disappointing me. I had to learn that sometimes helping your children means making them face their problems instead of solving everything for them. Brady stayed with me while Shane got his life together. The kid helped me in the workshop, learned to use my tools, and asked a million questions about everything, just like his father used to do when he was young. 6 months later, Shane found a good job with an electrical contracting company. Turns out having an electrician for a father had rubbed off on him more than either of us realized. He moved into a small apartment across town, close enough for Brady to bike over after school. Last month, Shane came over for Sunday dinner, and afterward, he asked if he could help me fix the back porch light that had been flickering. We worked side by side in comfortable silence, just like we used to when he was a kid learning the trade. "Dad," he said as we finished up, "I know I can't undo what happened, but I want you to know I see who I became, and I don't like it. Jessica was wrong, but I was weak for letting her lead me down that path. I looked at my son, really looked at him. He had Ruth's honest eyes and my stubborn chin. Son, being fooled doesn't make you weak. Staying fooled after you know better, that's what makes you weak." He nodded, understanding. The workshop still smells like motor oil and sawdust. Brady's learning to use a drill press, And every morning, when I wake up in my own house, I remember that sometimes the best revenge is just refusing to be anyone's victim. My daddy was right about measuring twice and cutting once, but he forgot to mention that sometimes you have to sharpen your tools first. Sometimes the people who claim they're protecting you are the ones you need protection from most. Family isn't about blood. It's about who stands by you when the lights go out.